Great. So again, thank you all so much for joining today for the Daily Vow workshop. I'm really grateful that you're all here and I'm excited to walk through this process. So I'm going to get my slideshow started. Can someone just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? I don't know if I can see you guys while I'm presenting, so. Okay, I'll just move forward and keep going. All right, so this is the Cultivating a Daily Vow workshop. As I mentioned, this is recorded, so you'll have forever access to it. And I think just because of the way the screen share works, I'm just going to run through the whole presentation and run through all of like the background information. And then right before hypnosis, the group hypnosis, that will be our Q&A time for like pre-hypnosis questions. And then after the hypnosis, I will also have an opportunity for anyone who might want to share how they're feeling, anything that came up. So yeah, so feel free to just take some notes if you do have questions, because I'll be able to kind of go back on those. But yeah, so excited to get started. So just to go through the agenda points, it looks like a lot of points, but like no need to worry too much. I just wanted to break it down really basically so you had a better idea of kind of what to expect. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about sort of the inception of Daily Vow or how it started. I'm going to do a very brief overview of the neuroscience of habits. I'm going to talk about what hypnosis is and what I've learned from hypnosis and sort of how I do it. I'm going to talk about what old stories, new truths means. There's going to be an opportunity for us to all journal. So if you don't already have your journal with you, you'll have like a minute to grab it then, or you can grab it right now. And then I'll also send those journal prompts after separately, like in the email. So you don't have to necessarily comb through the video again if you don't necessarily want to. And then I'm going to go over how to cultivate that daily vow. I'm going to go through the power of visualization, and then we're going to get into the group hypnosis, which I think is the best part. I mean, obviously, all the knowledge and data is super important, but I'm really excited for you folks to have the opportunity to do a group hypnosis session with me. And then, as I mentioned before, I'll take a pause before the group hypnosis just to ask some questions or see if anyone has any questions. And then afterwards, everyone who is comfortable or desired to speak about their experience will have that opportunity then. So hello, I'm Jenna Borelli. Some of you have known me for a while. Some of you know me on the internet. Regardless of our relationship, I'm just so grateful you're here, and I'm so excited to be working with you all today. I am a hypnotherapist, and my certification is through Grace Method Hypnosis School. So just about wrapping up my program in a month, and I'll actually have some more information about that at the end too. I'm a journal and creative coach. I'm also a writer, an artist, and performer. I'm 14 months sober as of at the end of February 2022. And the reason I include that is because this sort of process of cultivating discipline really was rooted in my sobriety journey. And it sort of manifested into like a career and a life path for me. So I just wanted to share that in case anyone else is interested in sobriety, in case anyone else is interested in like the power of discipline and how it can sort of transform. I'd like to consider myself your accountability and abundance bestie. So I'm here rooting for you beyond just this workshop. So if anything comes up in the next few weeks and months, you are always welcome to reach out to me on Facebook Messenger or on Instagram, email, text, because we're in this journey together. I'm also on the accountability journey. So it'll be good just to have folks that, we can kind of bounce off of. And I'm a discipline aficionado. I am very much about discipline and its power, and not in the sense of taking away fun or taking away privileges or making someone feel shame or embarrassment. I'm talking about feeling committed to yourself, feeling committed to your goals. And we're going to really dive into what that means in this session. So once again, we'll have a chance to talk about any questions or anything that comes up at the end, but just feel comfortable, dive in if you have a glass of water or tea or a candle, and let's get going. So first of all, by showing up today, you've already begun the deeply transformative work. And I realize there's a spelling error, but that's okay because we are human. You have already begun the deeply transformative work. By showing up to this workshop, you are saying to yourself, you're saying to your subconscious brain, your conscious brain, I'm committed in a small but incredibly impactful way. I'm taking an hour to an hour and a half out of my time to meet and really absorb this information. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back, give yourself a high five, a hug, however you want to show that, because every single step you take and every single movement that you make in terms of your commitment to yourself is that fuel. It's that reiteration that you can be committed and you can continue to show up. So congrats on that. I'm so happy you're here. So let's talk about Daily Vow and its inception. So as I mentioned before, I am 14 months sober, and that journey started literally on January 1st, 2021. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just take this 30 days at a time and break it down even more. I'm going to take it a day at a time. And basically what I would do is I had this sort of physical calendar, and I would just mark every single day that I was able to maintain the sobriety. I would just do like my little check marks, or maybe I would do a circle or whatever the shape was. And from there on, as I gained momentum and I started to look at other habits and other desires in my life, I kind of expanded out my sort of key or my way of managing these habits. And so then I started checking the days that I wrote every day, or if I was doing like a cannabis cleanse, I would do a check mark for that. Or if I was doing my daily hypnosis, which is a requirement for my school, I would do a check for that or whatever shape. And so every month I kind of had a different key or a different sort of way to go over these habits and go over like sort of keeping track of them. And every month I kind of gave myself a different process. And as I kind of mentioned, like the sobriety was always sort of the main one that I did every month for the year of 2021. And then in 2022, I sort of had this like consistent key that I would check every month. Well, it's been 2 months, and it kind of started at the end of 2021. So I had like a little check mark for my cannabis cleanse that I was doing. I had a circle for every day that I did my daily self hypnosis. And then I had a W for every time that I did my like 250 to 100 words of writing, or I worked on a writing project. And so I sort of got in this habit. Every day I would write check, 0, W, check OW, check OW. And like the more and more I looked at it, I was like, this kind of looks like the word vow. And it all sort of clicked to me that this process of committing to myself and committing to my goals and committing to my habits every single day, it started by just tracking that sobriety. That was sort of the seed. And that was the one thing that I had to be consistent for literally a year. And, you know, throwing in some other things, and then going into the next iteration of my chapter and the next iteration of this phase, it kind of morphed into, okay, I have 3 things that I'm checking this month. It's, did I write? Did I stay free of cannabis? And did I work on self-hypnosis? And so those were just like goals for each month, because I don't know if next month I will have the same goals or if I will even be tracking them in the same way. But I do know that this sort of key, this ability to look at my calendar and have a big picture of the goals that I'm committing to, has been really helpful for me in terms of maintaining that. And so that's where the concept of the daily vow started. It started with the sobriety cleanse and turned into sort of the daily requirements that I had. And then it turned into a system and sort of a philosophy, a way of thinking. And that's what I'm here to share with you folks today, is sort of the whole picture of it. So beyond just the checkmark system, what can you do at a subconscious level, and what can you do on a daily basis to commit yourself and really root yourself in that discipline? So I'm going to talk really briefly about the neuroscience of habits because you can't really fit like years and years of research onto like 2 slides. So I'm going to talk about what I think is most important for you folks to understand for today. There are tons and tons of amazing resources and books about these topics. And there's tons of amazing neuroscientists and scientists and psychologists, et cetera, that really, really expand on it. So as mentioned before, what we're talking about today is just really going to give you that taste of what to think about. And some of this is also stuff that I've learned during my schooling too. So it's really pertinent to the subconscious mind and hypnotherapy, which again, I'll share more about too. So this is a quote from Grace Smith, who I mentioned was the founder of Grace Hypnosis, and she's the founder of my school where I'm getting my certification from. Neuroscience of habits. Every time you feel, think, or do something, you are creating a new synaptic connection in the brain. You're creating a new neural pathway, and with repetition, this becomes stronger and stronger. This is how we form habits. So essentially, if you think about the habit of brushing your teeth, you're sort of told as a child, okay, you have to do this, and the reward is that your teeth won't fall out or you won't get cavities or whatever. So you're like, okay, whatever. So you start brushing your teeth, and your parents kind of have to guide you. They have to sit there and potentially brush their teeth for you, have to set alarms, reminders, and you're like, okay. And so after years and years and years of brushing your teeth, you've created this neural pathway, these connections that say, okay, brushing my teeth equals good. Brushing my teeth is something I need to do. It's a habit. And then it becomes almost on autopilot. I mean, there's definitely some days where we're like, do I really want to brush my teeth? I'm exhausted. But in terms of the structure of, a habit being built, you expect it to happen. It's going to happen at some point in your day. And it's because you've created those neural pathways to sort of promote and strengthen that connection. Some additional points on that: with enough repetition, behaviors become automatic. So that sort of goes back to the brushing the teeth. The same one would be drinking water every day. That's an important habit. That's something that you sort of like, okay, it's a day. I'm just going to go to my fridge. I'm going to fill a cup of water. I'm not going to think a lot about it. Another one would be an example of like a negative habit or a habit that maybe isn't serving you would be picking your nails. If you pick your nails enough because it's a stress reliever, eventually it's going to become a consistent habit. And that's okay, because we're all looking at ways to sort of cope and get through our day-to-day lives. And so not all habits are fantastic, but all habits are changeable and malleable. And that's really important to understand too. And again, we're focusing today really about strengthening habits and creating new habits. And so in some cases, that is replacing an old habit. And that doesn't mean the old habit will like disappear and you'll never think about it, but you will dismember the strength of that habit by replacing the new one. So let's say, just to give you a little bit more of an example of that, if I want to replace picking up my phone every time I'm bored with doing a breathing exercise or pulling out my notebook or something like that, I might still have that urge to pick up my phone, even if I've done my alternative exercise 30, 40, 50 times. And that's okay. The key to it is being really conscious about the choices that you make. So if you're going into it and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm feeling really anxious. My gut or my initial reaction is to pick up my phone. No. Taking a second, I'm going to pause and I'm going to pick up my notebook, or I'm going to do a series of breathings. So you have that choice to strengthen that new habit. And if you happen to fall back on the old habit, it's okay. You're not losing progress. All you have to do is just think of that consciousness the next time you're going through it. Just to reiterate, our brains are malleable. You may have heard the term neuroplasticity thrown around, but I mean, it's like a very cool term. One of my favorite speakers and researchers on this topic is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has some amazing books like You Are the Placebo and Becoming Superhuman. And it basically talks about the same concept of repetition and neuroplasticity. So as you know, we've spent our whole lifetimes building specific habits, and that's why they can feel very strong. But then we have the rest of our life and we have these very exciting new prospects of creating new habits. So if someone tells you you're going to be a certain way just because that's the way you've been before, that's not true. You have the power and the choice to change those habits. It just takes time, it takes effort, it takes accountability. And so neuroplasticity is that idea that we literally can create new neural pathways, and we can create new communication in our brain between those neurons to actually create those new habits, those new ideas, those new beliefs about ourselves, etc. This idea of tapping into the five senses creates more stickiness with the neural pathways. It's sort of saying that you're also tapping into other neural pathways that you've already created, and you're just creating a heightened sense. So that's why it's like, if you're meditating with a certain scent and you are meditating in a certain space and in a certain sensation, it kind of puts those puzzle pieces together. In the same way that there's neuroplasticity, you can also learn to hardwire how you react to certain situations. So you're able to look at a situation and say, okay, again, I have the opportunity to open my phone when I'm stressed, or I have the opportunity to look at my journal or breathe or whatever. So starting to think about how you hardwire through that habit process building. And it's important to understand that our subconscious brain resists change because it wants to keep you safe. So we are programmed to be safe. We have these instinctual sort of needs to protect ourselves. And so if you already have a habit, your brain knows that's safe because the habit exists. It's, you've made it alive this far and this long with these habits, but deep down, and at a conscious level that you'd like to make that change, but there is a little bit of that resistance. You could look to your subconscious programming, your subconscious mind, to be like, oh, okay, it's because I'm programmed to stay safe. But now I want to work to reprogram my subconscious mind to create a new habit, which is actually keeping me safer because it's moving me to the next phase in my life. Or understanding that by breaking those habits, we're not breaking our safety. We are exposing ourselves to new opportunities, which can feel very scary for our brains, but in the long run is going to be really healthy for our growth and for our development. So yeah, that's a lot of facts about neuroscience. Again, I am not a neuroscientist. I'm a hypnotherapist. So this is what I've learned through my schooling. And if you'd like to learn more about it, there are tons of resources and amazing books and YouTube videos. So I really recommend you keep looking into it because I think you'll really enjoy learning more about it. So now that we've talked about we've talked about the neuroscience of habits, we've talked about this idea of the daily vow or being committed to ourselves every single day. I do want to talk about hypnosis and how it can play a part into this bigger picture, into this idea that we can use our own brains and use our own power and use our own subconscious access to completely change the trajectory of our lives, to change the way we think about our lives. So hypnosis is a natural state that we go into and out of every single day of our life. So if you think about brain waves, these are sort of the different waves and different patterns that our brain goes in and out of throughout the day. It's basically different speeds, and these different speeds impact different processing and alertness. So there's alpha, beta, delta, and theta, and then there's also gamma, but we usually kind of think about the four main ones. Right now, you're realistically in a beta, maybe a high alpha. And then when you're in hypnosis, you're usually in a low alpha or a theta state. And when you're asleep, you're in a delta state. And so even though hypno is a root Latin word for sleep, or Greek word, it's a root word for sleep. This is not sleep. We're not putting you into a deep delta wave state. We're putting you in a theta wave state. So you're fully able to hear and listen and observe everything that's happening to you. So you're in complete control. You're completely able to again, listen and be attentive. The only difference is because you're in that specific brainwave state, you have direct access to your subconscious. So you're able to bypass your critical conscious mind who might get in the way when it comes to making that deeply transformative change. So just to go a little bit deeper into that, um, it's believed and researched that about 10% of our brain is conscious, which is our critical thinking, our willpower, sort of day to day. Right now I'm speaking from that conscious mind. But our subconscious brain, 90% is memories, beliefs, our automatic bodily functions, our views on ourselves, our habits, our emotions, so many things are rooted in our subconscious brain. So we are still operating from our subconscious brain, but we may not be processing actively. And so when you go into hypnosis, you go into a deeply relaxed state. You access your subconscious mind, you access these beliefs or these memories, these emotions, these systems. You're able to direct them and say, you know what, actually, I'd like to make this change, or actually, I'd like to feel this way. Or you ask yourself questions, or you use visualization. And basically, what you're doing is you have a very clear and direct way of making change instead of at the conscious level, which doesn't necessarily happen as such the same rapid pace. So let me take this a step back. Consciously, the type of work that you can do that is transformative is building those daily habits and committing to yourself on a daily basis and keeping track of yourself, which is super, super important and part of this process. On the subconscious level, with hypnosis, with meditation, with other types of deep transformative work, you get to talk to and understand and recognize those belief systems, those self-limiting beliefs, those habits, those thoughts that are no longer serving you and are getting in the way of your goals. Hypnosis can also be used to increase things that already exist. Maybe you are someone who wants to increase confidence that already exists. You can use subconscious programming or reconditioning through hypnosis to increase that confidence. Let's say that you are making really great progress on your financial goals, but you want to improve that or increase that. You could use hypnosis for that as well. In fact, there is a huge book, a list of what you can use subconscious or what you can use hypnosis for through accessing the subconscious. And so that's why this is going to be a really powerful piece of the daily vow process. Because when we go into that group hypnosis, we're going to be using visualization to work with the subconscious mind to really instill and root and anchor this belief that you can stay committed, you can stay focused, and you can pursue it for a period of time. So it is a fantastic process. Again, it can be used in a very therapeutic way to heal trauma, to work on self-limiting beliefs. It can also be used as an amplifier to create new processes, to create new beliefs, to change things that you're excited about, that you want to amplify. So it's a very multifaceted tool. It's a tool that I'm very passionate about. And just by becoming a hypnotherapist, I've been able to see amazing changes in my own life. And that's why I'm so passionate about it and excited to share it with others, because it is also something that you can do on your own. So as you can see on the screen, one of the definitions of hypnosis is meditation with a goal. And so the same theta brainwaves that you're in when you're in hypnosis, you're also in when you're meditating. So we like to think of all hypnosis as self-hypnosis, because again, I'm not going in and using mind control. I'm not using amnesia, truth serum. I'm not doing anything against your consent. All I'm doing is I'm acting as a guide to help you get deep, deep, deep into your own subconscious brain, into your own processes, so that you can really think about how to better serve yourself. And so you can actually do hypnosis at home. You can do hypnosis on your own. And so self-hypnosis sounds very similar to guided meditation, except you might be just sitting on your own and just going through that process. And so the three ways that I really recommend working through hypnosis is self-hypnosis, so doing that process on your own, a guided hypnosis or group hypnosis, which is what we'll be doing at the end of this class, And then working with a hypnotherapist. And the most rapid and the most accessible way to make that transformation is working with a hypnotherapist, because we are outside of your own critical mind factor. And so even though you are able to get deep into that theta brain state, it really helps to have an outside source be able to ask the right questions and help you guide through that. So really, best case scenario, you're doing a combination of the three. And if you have any questions or interests in hypnotherapy, I'll definitely mention that at the end as well. And yeah, really the goal is to be able to rewire your brain to think about abundance, discipline, and confidence, and also helping you see those opportunities and seek out those opportunities and look at ways to increase your abundance through things like discipline and commitment and all of that good stuff. So I want to think about this idea of old stories and new truths. So we spend a lot of time talking to ourselves in our brains, talking to other people about ourselves, thinking about ourselves, etc. And it can feel really, really easy to fall into certain patterns like, I'll never be good at this. I don't know how to do this. There's no way I can stay committed to this. I've never done this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at one point in time, that may have been a true story. That may have been true. You may never have been to, you might not have been able to commit to something in the past. You might have had difficulty committing to a task in previous experiences in your life. But that does not mean that's going to be the case in the future. That is not a life sentence. That's not a opinion that you have to hold about yourself anymore. You are allowed to, at any point, take an opportunity, take a stance and say, you know what, I'm going to change the way I think about myself. I'm going to change the way I think about what I do. And also you can recognize that although it does take some time and it does take some practice and process, it's an exciting thing. It's the opportunity to kind of create your own a science experiment for yourself. You get to think about your own hypotheses of what changes do I need to make in order to see this outcome that I want. So although you have these old stories, of course they've served a purpose. They're part of your identity. They're part of your growth. They're part of who you are. They are not, though, who you're going to be forever. In fact, they're only a piece, a small piece of the big puzzle of your complex, beautiful, integrated, and exciting life. So again, by taking the time to think about this, attending this workshop, participating in the group hypnosis, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm showing up for myself. I'm deciding to start writing this new truth and this new story. And I know that I can continue to rewrite it anytime that serves me, but it's going to be really exciting. And if you think about the idea of writing a story, you don't just write a few lines and then you're done. I mean, unless you're listening to like a really short story. Typically you write lots and lots of lines. You take a lot of time to practice that. So look at it that way. Look at it as you are unfolding and creating this new story for yourself, this new truth. Alrighty, so the next portion is I'm just going to talk really briefly about journaling, and then I'm going to give you folks about 5 to 10 minutes for 3 prompts, and I'm going to journal with you too, just so that we can all work on it together. And at the end of the whole session, when we do our big Q&A and reflection, this will be your opportunity to work on this as well. So why I'm introducing journaling as part of this process is you could use journaling as your daily vow habit. It could be the first thing that you do to really set your 30 days of discipline. You could say, you know what, the only thing I'm focusing on for the next 30 days is writing in my journal every single day. I think journaling is a fantastic place to create safety, to sort your thoughts. And journaling is a really creative and freeing process. And if you have any questions about journaling outside of this, I also have another free workshop on Instagram. And I have a bunch of prompts on my website too. Alrighty, so it is currently 3:32. I'm going to give everyone 10 minutes, so till 3:42. And we're going to go ahead and run through these 3 prompts. You can just choose to spend the whole time focusing on the one prompt, you could use the whole time working on all three prompts. I'm just going to check really quick just to make sure I haven't missed anything from anyone. Nope, it looks like we're good. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to pop this back up. So really quickly, I'm going to walk through these prompts and then I'll let you know when we'll start the timer, and then I'll just basically start talking and then you'll know to move on. So the first prompt is, what is an old story I have around discipline? How can I release it? What does a perfect day of showing up for myself look like? And what resources, people's tools, community, etc., do I have to support my journey to abundance? So it's 333 right now. Woohoo, numerology. So go ahead and get started. And I'm going to say let's do 7 minutes. I think 7 minutes is good, actually. So at 3:40, I'll usher everyone back in. So go ahead and get started. Alrighty, folks. If you haven't done so already, just take a moment to wrap up whatever you are writing. And as mentioned before, I will be emailing out these prompts once the video downloads as well, so that you have access to both the prompts and this recording so that you can revisit anytime. Beautiful. All right, let's move on. We have a couple more things we're going to go over, and then we're going to dive into the group hypnosis session. Oops, there we go. All right, so now I want to just break down the challenge I would love for you folks to take on, which is 30 days for the daily vow. This is sort of the formula or the tools that the components that you want to include to actually initiate it. So just to kind of take it a step back before I even step into point one, it can be really exciting to want to change your habits, to want to change your life, to want to create abundance, but it can also feel very overwhelming if you're trying to change 90 things at the same time, because that's like a lot of neural pathways, neurons firing off, a lot of things going on. So for this purpose, I would love for you to think about one task for 30 days. And that's the only thing that you're really focused on cultivating. Obviously, if you have other stuff that you already do on a semi-regular basis, or like the other habits you've already created, perfect. Keep doing them. But when we're talking about one brand new habit that we'd like to stick, or one brand new goal, let's just focus on one. So the first step is to commit to one single new habit or task for 30 days. That's the only one that you're going to track, think about in terms of that new process. You can use tools like journaling and visualization to help bolster that discipline. Again, I don't want journaling to necessarily compete with your first habit, or journaling could become your first habit. So kind of however you want to think about it. But you could use journaling as like a one-off task, or if you're someone who already has a journaling practice on a daily basis or semi-regular basis, then take this time to work on those prompts that we already went over. Create your own prompts, free journal, whatever makes sense for you. You can access visualization through meditation, through self-hypnosis, working with a hypnotherapist, just daydreaming, going for a walk. And these are all opportunities to really bolster that discipline. You can use some kind of tracking system to make sure you're completing your daily vow. I like to write on a physical calendar. You could use like something on your Google Calendar. You could, like I said, use a physical calendar. You could use a Post-it note, however you want to do it, or a task on your phone. Or you can just mentally keep track of it if you feel confident in that. I'm definitely someone who has to write down and calendarize every aspect of my life. So I think also there's a little bit of that dopamine hit when you check off your day and you're like, yes, I completed my daily vow. Notice how you feel at the end of the 30 days. How do you feel in terms of this habit? And then if you want to keep it going, one option could be repeat the same habit again for 30 days, or you could add on a new habit or start something else. But I believe more recent research says in terms of longevity, it takes about like 3-ish months, 1 to 3 months for a new habit to really stick. So you could look at this as the seed that's planting for the long-term process or goal. So right now, all I want you to think about is there a goal or habit in mind? Can you commit to it for 30 days? And can you commit to the process of tracking it in some capacity? And that's all you have to think about. And when the 30 days end, you can start it over. And again, you could literally focus on one of these habits for a whole year. For me, sobriety was like the main thing that I was tracking for a year. Every single month it was, did I stay sober today? It's like, check, check, check. And then now that it's been a pretty decent amount of time, I'm able to kind of mix and match that and say, the month of January was really all about journaling every day. And then the month of February was all about writing every day. But both months were about doing my daily hypnosis for school. So just kind of giving you an idea to think about it. Start small and take it slow. As I mentioned at the beginning of that slide, it can feel very easy to want to try to change 1,000 things. And I also just want to reiterate that there's nothing wrong with you the way that you are now. You are a magical, beautiful being, and you are doing so many amazing things. All you're trying to do is just make changes to amplify and excite and make newness in your life. I don't want you to look at this as that you're bad or you're doing something wrong, because you're not. All you're doing is saying, I want to bring in more. And that's where the discipline for abundance piece that comes in. It's like, I want to journal to have more insight. I want to write every day to have more creativity. I want to go on a 5-minute walk every day to clear my head more. I want to do meditation to help me solve other goals, or I want to stay sober to help clear up my skin or to help me with some mental health things or whatever. And so by committing to that one thing, you're opening the doors for so many other things. Again, some other important things to keep in mind. Don't let the daily vow drive you to the ground. So if something comes up, if you are feeling really stressed, anxious, triggered, if you are dealing with some personal things, like it's okay to take a pause, to start over. You're not going to get disciplined and you're not going to get in trouble. No one's going to take any points away from you. Like at the end of the day, this is your life and you have to do what's best to take care of you. So again, just keep this component of compassion and grace throughout your whole process. And on the flip side, also consider boundaries and flexibility for your ascension. So where can you be really flexible in your process and where can you be really strict? So for me, if I know my daily habit or goal is to write 500 words every day, I might be flexible on the time of the day that I write, but my boundary could be, okay, I can't watch TV until I write, or I can't go to my boyfriend's house until I'm done writing, or like whatever. Or like if I go to my boyfriend's house, I have to write, or just giving you some ideas. So find the balance between the boundaries and the flexibility. Reiterating kind of to the first point, take care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health on this journey. I don't want anyone feeling burnt to the ground. I want you to feel excited, motivated, passionate. We're going to use that self-hypnosis or that group hypnosis to really infiltrate and inject more of those ideas into you. And you will not solve all your problems in one month. And again, I don't want you to think of you as being full of problems. You're just looking at opportunities to make your life easier and make your life more flexible and more calm and whatever other desires you might have. Rest is a critical piece of the daily vow commitment. Always find time to rest, take care of yourself, rejuvenate, recharge. All those are so, so important. And I really like the idea of rewarding yourself for completing the daily vow. So another part of the sobriety thing for me that was really helpful is literally every single month I bought myself a gift, because I knew that there was a reward mechanism, and humans are often driven by reward. So if you know yourself, if you know you need a little treat to get you through a process, then I definitely recommend that. But also just get yourself treats because you deserve it. But, kind of being like, okay, I have one more day, 30 days, and then I get the big treat. It could be a fun way to kind of keep you motivated too. So I want to talk about the power of visualization right before we get started on our hypnosis. And I know I mentioned before there was going to be Q&A before and after, but I just want to be really conscious of everyone's time. So I'm going to go right into the hypnosis and then open the floor for questions if anyone has them, and reflections as well. So the part of your brain that you use to complete a task is also going to light up when you are visualizing the same task. And this was proven in brain scans and studies done by folks, including Dr. Joe Dispenza. So basically it was like people playing piano and people visualizing themselves playing the piano, that same part of the brain was lighting up. When you use visualization, it also is a fantastic tool to help reduce stress and inflammation. And you can literally like visualize yourself doing that too. Like not to be like dramatic, but you can literally use visualization for anything, or imagery for anything you want to achieve in your life. And it's not just like a one-stop thing. You're like, okay, I visualized abundance once. Where's my abundance? Well, you also have to be clear. What do I want in my life in terms of abundance? What does abundance mean for me? How do I achieve that? And in the very same way that daily vow is more powerful when you commit to it for a longer period of time, visualization becomes stronger and stronger when you commit to it. So when they have those studies of someone playing piano and visualizing piano, again, it's not just like a one-off thing. It's over a course of time. Use visualization to view the outcomes, to gain clarity in your steps. So maybe you're feeling stuck in your life. You're like, I can't write this chapter, or I can't gain this client, or whatever it is. And go ahead and use visualization to help gain that clarity. And you can also use visualization to see yourself completing your daily vow, which I will incorporate into hypnosis as well. Okay, beautiful. So time to start the group hypnosis. I keep calling it self-hypnosis because, as I mentioned before, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. But in this case, I will be guiding you through it. So I'm just going to take a moment. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. And I'm going to grab up my notes just so I can have those ready for you folks. Okay, perfect. So I'm all ready. And if you haven't done so already, please find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down, whatever is most comfortable for you. If you have that candle lit, keep it burning. If you want to light a candle super, super quick, before we actually close our eyes, just take a moment to kind of give yourself a nice little stretch. I know my shoulders get really tense when I get really excited, and I've been very excited presenting, so I'm just taking a moment to loosen those bad boys up. All right, now you can go ahead and close your eyes. As your eyes remain closed, go ahead and take a nice, deep, letting go breath. Breathing in deeply and exhaling in a way that serves you best. Now, I want you to continue to be mindful of your breath. But for a few of these breaths, on the inhale, you'll expand your lungs and your rib cages and your stomach. And on the exhale, you'll actually think the word relax in your brain. So inhale, expand, exhale, think the word relax. Now go ahead and continue this process for as long as you desire. Inhale, expand, exhale, relax. Excellent work. Now you're going to notice already your eyes are feeling wonderfully, deeply relaxed. Your eyes are feeling so wonderfully, so deeply relaxed that it feels perfectly comfortable and safe to keep them closed. In fact, no matter how hard you try to open those eyelids, they feel perfectly wonderful and perfectly safe and perfectly relaxed as they stay closed. You can even give yourself a little try, test it out. And as you notice they continue to stay closed, go ahead and think about a color you love forming at the top of your head. Any color you love, remembering all colors are perfectly relaxing, are perfectly meaningful, and are perfect as a guide to deeper relaxation. Now imagine the color of your choice forming at the top of your head. And that color slowly, gently moves through your body all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And as this color moves through you, each part of your body also deepens in relaxation. Now go ahead and take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, feel that color rush through you again. This time a little bit quicker than the first time. Equally as relaxing, if not doubly as relaxing this time. Now, to make sure you feel even deeper in your relaxation, we're going to take you through each part of your body to really ensure it feels nice and relaxed and calm. Go ahead and relax the top of your head. Relax your forehead, smoothing out any creases. Relax those tiny muscles next to your eyes. Relax your jaw, letting it hang loose and slack. You can relax your ears. You can relax your neck, releasing any tension. Any tension in your shoulders can go ahead and release now. Continue to relax your shoulders, and in turn, you relax your arms all the way down to your fingertips. Take a moment now just to feel how wonderful and deeply relaxed you are. Now go ahead and relax your chest and torso. Relax your stomach, breathing deeply, really releasing. Relax your core, relax your hips, really leaning into that chair or bed or wherever you are, allowing yourself to just relax and let yourself be as is. Relax your thighs, relax your kneecaps, relax your legs all the way down to your feet. I can imagine now how deeply and wonderfully relaxed you already feel. Now I want you to visualize yourself at the top of a perfect and perfectly safe set of stairs. These stairs could be elaborate and ornate. These stairs could be simple and made of plain wood. These stairs could be made of clouds. They could be made of butterflies. They could be made of a waterfall. Whatever you visualize is perfect for you, and it is perfectly safe for you to walk down. And you'll notice there are 10 steps in front of you. And not now, but when I tell you so, on each number I count down, you will take a step down, doubling and deepening your deep relaxation. And at the bottom of your staircase will await for you your safe place, a place that is perfectly safe for you. It could be a garden, it could be someone's backyard, it could be the room you're in now, it could be your childhood bedroom, it could be somewhere you've never been, it could be your favorite vacation spot, it could be a place in another dimension. All that matters is it is a place where you feel comfortable and safe. And once I take you down these 10 steps, you will be at that safe place where the deeply transformative work will continue. Now go ahead on 10. take a step down now, doubling your relaxation. 9, another step down now. The deeper you go, the better you feel. 8, another step down now. The better you feel, the deeper you go. 7, really deepening, allowing yourself to relax. 6, noticing how good it feels to walk down your perfectly safe staircase. 5, really leaning in, feeling the velvety darkness behind those eyelids. 4, even closer now, starting to really see your safe place in front of you. 3, relaxing, releasing, and really letting go now. 2, trusting what comes, and 1. You are now at the bottom of your staircase, ready to enter your safe place. Now go ahead and enter your safe place. Notice the colors, the sensations, the feelings of your safe place. Notice how it feels to walk around. Notice the smells. Go ahead and reach out and touch something there in your safe place. Notice now you can turn up the colors, making them twice as bright, twice as bold. That's right. Really allow yourself to submerge yourself completely in your safe place. Take a few deep breaths here in your safe place, recognizing how good it feels, recognizing the transformative work you've already begun. Noticing how proud of yourself you are for showing up today, by attending this workshop, by focusing on your relaxation. As you walk around your safe place, you recognize that relaxation is a habit. It's a habit that you are so good at. It's a habit that strengthens your discipline. It's a habit that allows for abundance. The more that you relax, the greater the net of your imagination can go. That's right. The more you allow yourself to deepen into your relaxation, the greater your net of imagination will go. Now, I want you to notice somewhere in your safe place, very comfortable and safe place for you to sit or lie down. But before you head over to this comfortable place to sit or lie down, I want you to find something in your safe place that is healthy and delicious for you to take a bite of. It could be an apple, it could be a piece of cake, it could be a sandwich. Whatever you visualize is absolutely perfect for you. Just give yourself a second to take a bite, or a few, whatever you would like. And know that by giving yourself the opportunity to fuel through this food, you're also fueling your imagination, allowing for expansiveness, allowing for yourself to go even deeper, to learn even quicker, and learn even more information while you're in this deeply relaxed state. Now that you're done taking a delicious taste, go ahead and begin your walk over to this safe, comfortable place for you to sit or lie down. And when I count down from 3 to 1 and snap my fingers, on the snap, you will be sitting or lying down in this magical and comfortable place. 3, heading there now. 2, trusting what comes, and 1, be there now. either seated or lying down. Now go ahead and allow yourself to get deep into your comfort, deep into your relaxation. And I want you to take this moment and think about a habit or task that you would feel really excited, really proud, really happy to work on for 30 days. It could be meditation, it could be journaling, it could be riding your bike, hula hooping, practicing magic. Whatever that task or goal is perfect for you. Don't think too hard about it. Whatever comes to mind is the perfect task for today. Now, I want you to take a moment with your mind's eye and really visualize what it looks like when you are completing this task. Visualize yourself now completing the task or goal. Notice how you look when you complete the task. Notice how you feel when you're working on the task, when you've completed the task. Notice what happens when you're done with the task. How do you move forward with your day? I'm going to give you a moment here to really visualize that whole process, visualizing yourself completing the task, and then seeing what happens directly after. Now that you've had an opportunity to really visualize yourself completing the task, I want you to visualize in front of you a table. This table can be however you would like it to be. It could be big, it could be small. All that it is a table, but it's your magical table. And by visualizing this table, you're creating sturdiness and concreteness and reinforcement of this habit you're ready to commit to. If you're laying down, go ahead and get into a seated position so that you can be seated at this table. And if you're already seated, just adjust yourself so that you are seated at the table. Notice how it feels to sit at this magnificent table, this table of truth, this table that acts as a tool for you to really solidify, magnify this discipline, this commitment, this daily vow you're ready to embark on. Now you notice on this table, there is a perfect pen or writing instrument or whatever type of tool you need to write with. And there is a perfect piece of paper or scroll, some kind of magnificent device that allows you to really, really write down and commit to this goal. Now go ahead and pick up your magnificent, powerful writing device and place that magnificent, powerful writing device on that magnificent, powerful piece of paper or scroll and begin to visualize yourself writing out the following. I, fill in the blank name, commit to 30 days of discipline by working on my goal. So you're going to write, I, fill in your name, commit to 30 days of discipline by committing to my goal. Now take a moment to write out what that goal is on the sheet of paper. Write out what it entails to complete this goal, any of the important details. I'll give you a moment to do that now. And now that you've written out this goal on this magical, transformative piece of paper with this magical, transformative pen or a writing device, at the bottom, you'll write some kind of clause that says, by completing this goal, this will happen. So, for example, by completing this goal, I will be prepared for a new job, or by completing this goal, I'll be ready to start my novel, or by completing this goal, I will feel calmer, I'll feel more present, I'll feel more energized. Just take a few moments to write down the conditions of this goal. Now that you've written out your commitment to the goal itself, and the conditions of the goal, go ahead and sign your name at the bottom of the paper, energetically sealing the deal that on whatever day you choose, whether it be tomorrow, in 2 days, in a week, in a month, whatever day you choose to begin this sacred commitment to yourself, this piece of paper, this scroll, this writing pen, these are all the tools that you have used to subconsciously seal the deal. At the subconscious level, you have now decided to commit to yourself for 30 days. And as a result, you will see that transformation happen for you. Really visualize yourself now completing 30 days of this new goal that you've committed to. Visualize yourself completing it with ease, leaving lots of room for play, for relaxation, for excitement, whatever you desire. Really visualize it now. Visualize how it feels. Make it feel very real for you. Excellent work. Now, while you have this magical contract still in your hand or on your magical table, I want you to listen to the following affirmations that I will repeat, and you will repeat them in your mind's eye. I am confident in my ability to stay focused on my goal. I am confident in my ability to stay focused on my goal. Every day, in every way, I learn how to stay disciplined. Every day, in every way, I learn how to stay disciplined. It excites me when I complete my daily vow. It excites me when I complete my daily vow. I am proud of myself for sticking to 30 days of my new habit. I am proud of myself for sticking to 30 days of my new habit. By remaining disciplined, I cultivate abundance in my life. By remaining disciplined, I cultivate abundance in my life. Excellent work. Really take a moment here to soak up all of the wonderful transformation you've just experienced. Really take another moment now to seal the deal, recognizing that you've now committed yourself to your own abundance through the work of discipline, through the work of creativity, through self-exploration. Really soak it all up. Allow it to permeate every fiber of your being. And in a moment, I'll begin to count you back up. 1, beginning to regain some level of awareness. 2, getting ready to move your hands and your toes. Go ahead and move your hands and your toes. 3, go ahead and move your arms and your neck and your back. 4, lots of energy returning to the body now. 5, remembering everything and feeling absolutely great. 6, getting there now. 7, almost there, really sealing in the deal of this transformation. 8, getting closer to opening your eyes. 9, getting ready to open your eyes. And 10, opening your eyes with a big smile on your face, recognizing the amazing transformational work you've just accomplished. Excellent work.